Hey, what's up, gentlemen and ladies? Happy National Day to the country of Kuwait, or Kuwait, or Kuwait. I'm not actually sure how you're supposed to pronounce it. Sorry. So today we're going to be talking about Final Fantasy VII in light of some semi-recent news that I didn't actually get a chance to talk about, which has been going around recently, which has had a lot of people asking if we could actually, possibly, maybe in some really weird alternate universe where shit just happens to work out, see the first part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake at the end of this year. Because that is something that you have to keep in mind that a lot of people have actually been forgetting about recently for some reason. The Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be split up into multiple parts, not episodic like a lot of people mistakenly say, because that's a completely different thing. It's not episodic, it's just going to be split up into multiple games. You know, kind of like how Assassin's Creed or like Mass Effect, they tell the same story, it's just not all in one game, obviously. I assume, anyways. I haven't actually played any of those two series, so I guess I shouldn't be talking about them if I don't know. Anyways, Final Fantasy. So this all actually came from a recent statement made by Kitase, who said, to actually quote him directly, he said, "The voice actors have nearly finished recording for the main scenarios," which is pretty damn impressive, I'm not gonna lie. Like, they didn't specify, to my knowledge, if this was the English or the Japanese voice actors, but either one wouldn't really make any sense to me personally. Because if this was the English ones, typically for most Japanese games, they record the Japanese voice acting first, and then, like, the other language voice acting, including English, which is one of the last things that they do for a game. This is, like, literally post-production, like, oh, just finishing it up. Which is weird if that's the case, because if that's so, then holy shit, have they kept this game under wraps for a long time. Because we have literally gotten like a fully pre-rendered trailer, a pseudo gameplay trailer that's not even really that accurate anymore, and 2 screenshots. That's it. Yet you expect me to believe that this game is nearly complete. I ain't buying it, Kitase. But then again, if this wasn't talking about the Japanese voices, it also wouldn't make sense, because why would they record the English ones first, despite the fact that in both of the trailers there was the English dub over. Actually, now that I think about it, I mean, yes, the 2 trailers did show up at E3 and the PSX American events, but still, it is pretty weird that they were both in English. That being said, I mean, this is Kitase that we're talking about, and apparently, nobody trusts Kitase, right? I mean, he is only the producer of the game. Why would he actually say what he means, right? He said that the game was not going to be fully action-based. Oh, clearly, Kitase, you must have been confused, my man. Because according to the internet, you were just saying that. What you actually meant to say was the game is going to be fully action-based, and that ATB bar, it's just there for nothing. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, Nomura said that it was going to be less action than both Kingdom Hearts and Dissidia. Oh, no, he didn't mean that. Clearly, what he meant to say was that it's going to be on par with Dissidia and Kingdom Hearts, because that's what all the internet's been saying, right? That obviously, that's what he meant. Nomura, you must have been confused. So why would we trust what Kitase has to say now? God, YouTube comments can be so brain-killingly stupid sometimes. But combat discussion and all that bullshit out of the way, do I think that the FF7 Remake actually has any type of chance of coming out this year? That's a solid maybe right there. Honestly, if you were to ask me, like, what I think the probability is of it coming out in 2017, then I would say no, I don't think that it is going to come out this year. If you asked me sometime last year, maybe I would have said yes, but the more and more we get into 2017, and the less and less we see of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, the more and more I think there is a less and less chance of it coming out. Don't know why I phrased that so stupidly. I mean, there are some games like Kingdom Hearts 3 that you can just tell that are not coming out this year or next year, even though there's some dumb people that still say 2018. No. But with Final Fantasy VII Remake, it's like, because, I mean, Nomura has to be working on something, and it all really depends on when they're going to cut it off. Because with a game like Final Fantasy 15, for example, or Kingdom Hearts 3, we can generally tell how far in development the game is just by looking at the trailers, right? But with the Final Fantasy VII Remake, we can look at any given trailer and be like, oh, that's just the first area of the game. But maybe that's the whole game. A lot of people have suggested many different parts where the first chapter of the Final Fantasy VII Remake could end. It could be at the end of Disc 1, it could be past that, it could be right after you leave Midgar, it could be when you go on the boat, it could be in a bunch of different places. People really just have no idea where this first part is gonna cut off, but it really depends on that alone. I mean, so far, we literally have just seen footage, not pre-rendered footage, I should add, from the first mission of the game. And as much as some people have been talking speaking, I doubt that the first part will be literally just the first mission. I don't know, guys. I get the feeling that that's not gonna be it. Then again, it's also possible that that's all they've been showing simply because that's all that they want to show and they want the rest of it to kind of be a surprise in the game. That's why they haven't really shown off, well, anything past that. Like, we haven't seen Tifa, we haven't seen the rest of Midgar, we haven't seen really anything. It is worth pointing out that when the latest 2 screenshots were revealed, Nomura did say that he wanted and has been wanting to show more footage for the game, but Square Enix simply doesn't let him. And that right there, that's just completely unheard of. Like, this is Tetsuya Nomura we're talking about. This isn't Tabata that showed up with Final Fantasy XV to conventions like fucking China Joy and Family Game Forum. No, this is Nomura, the man that shows off something from a game maybe every 2 years. When he wants to show footage for a game, Hashimoto, you let him show footage for a game. I know it probably wasn't actually Hashimoto, they didn't let him, but I just like blaming everything on him because, well, he's Hashimoto. I've been saying this for quite a while, actually, ever since, like, I don't know, probably fall of last year. But I think that we will have a very solid idea of if we're getting the game this year or not when we actually see footage of it, because we can tell a lot from footage, if it's finished, if it's not, what areas we get to see, you know, how much of the game there is in the trailer or in the gameplay or whatever, and then from that we can make a fairly decent assumption. However, despite the fact that we were promised more Final Fantasy VII in the winter, it's the end of winter and we haven't gotten jack shit. I mean, to be fair, winter has like what, couple more weeks before it ends. Maybe they'll show off something at PAX East? I don't know what events are coming up recently. Unless you count like the 2 screenshots as showing Final Fantasy VII Remake off, which I guess is technically not true. But I was expecting to see a trailer or something like that, which by the looks of it seems like we're gonna have to wait all the way until something like E3 to actually get to see. Which is a shame, but honestly I wasn't really expecting that much more. Now again, tying this back to Final Fantasy XV, for example, the year that Final Fantasy XV came out, which was 2016, and I've mentioned this before, but we saw the game everywhere. Like, just between the beginning of the year and E3, which is the first, like, really big gaming event that happens in the year, even though it's all the way in freaking June, we had seen Final Fantasy XV literally everywhere, like at a bunch of ATRs and events, not to mention all of Uncovered, which was fucking uncovered. And this year so far, we've gotten Jack and shit, and Jack left town. I mean, one would think that if the remake was coming out this year, that they would want to double down on all the advertisement and all of the, you know, campaign just for showing off the game and for getting everyone to know that this is a thing that is happening, that they should go buy it at the end of the year or whenever it ends up coming out. But so far, they've been pretty calm about it. I mean, when we've seen just as much Kingdom Hearts 3 as we have Final Fantasy VII this year, that's how you know there's a problem. Or at least that's how you know that the game is pretty far off. Which brings us full circle back around to the topic of Kitase and why he said that the voice acting was nearly complete. This honestly just baffles me. Like, I cannot think of any way that this would be possible unless they literally recorded all the voice acting before they did anything else. Like, Nomura even said that the UI and all that kind of stuff was not even final, which, to be fair, that is one of those things that is bound to change a lot when a game is in development, but still. Unless, of course, it was just a straight-up bold-faced lie, which, as much as it would be shit, would not actually be that rare for Square Enix. Now, again, if this was Hashimoto, I wouldn't trust the motherfucker for a second, but this is Kitase, so his reputation is a little bit better, I'm not gonna lie. But if we had a Tabata straight-up lie to the fans to their faces counter, it would be through the roof. So I don't know, we'll see, Square Enix. I'm banking for E3, honestly, but if you were to ask me right here, right now, do I think that we will have this game by January 1st, 2018, then I would say no. I know that it's kind of a conclusion to the video, but I mean, a lot of people wanted me to talk about the fact that they mentioned the thing about the voice acting, and I figured, I mean, might as well make a video about it, even though it's irrelevant at this point because the news is like 3 days old, and in YouTube that's like 3 years, so whatever. I'm sorry guys, school gets in the way sometimes. I guess just let me know in the comments if you think that the remake has any chance of coming out this year, or the first part of the remake, I should clarify, obviously, blah, blah, blah. Either way though, that is all I have for you guys today. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to blitz that like button, subscribe, and as always, stay tuned for all things Final Fantasy. See you guys.